welcome to Classics Confidential. I'm Anastasia and I'm talking with Professor Gesine Manuwald in her office at UCL. Welcome, Gesine.
It's my pleasure to be here.
You work on fragments of Roman tragedy. What first attracted you to this topic?
First of all, there was a completely outside reason that I had a job in a research project which was concerned with all the fragments of from the Republican period. But although at that stage I might not have chosen to work on that, as soon as I dipped into that, I found this really exciting. It's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. You have bits and pieces here and there, quoted by later Roman authors, and then it's all up to you to make something out of it.
Yes, there must be a number of challenges in trying to piece together this puzzle. Can you give us a few examples of what that process entails?
Yes, certainly. You have challenges on different levels. It firstly starts with establishing the text, which you would think is the basis for everything, because quite a few of these fragments are transmitted by grammarians who only quote these pieces because an unusual word is in this line. And then, if it's an unusual word and it sounds very strange, you never really know, did they make a mistake in quoting, or is it actually this word? So that's one of the problems. And then on a larger scale, obviously, you may have a drama which we think was as long as a Greek drama or Shakespeare drama, but you only have 3 or 4 lines out of the entire drama. And then, obviously, you want to know what was the plot of the drama. Because these are tragedies, you have some idea because the myths are also attested as well. But you never know whether these dramatists made any changes. So there are some questions, unfortunately, we'll never be able to answer for 100% certainty with these kinds of dramas. But if you look long and hard and take all the evidence we have together, not only the fragments themselves, but also what other authors say about these dramas, there's still remarkably a number of things that you can actually find out, and that therefore it's worth doing, because it gives us an insight into an early period of Roman literature about which otherwise we don't have much evidence.
Of course, because usually people always think of Seneca's tragedies, which are from a later period, and then don't realise that there was other literature, other tragedy previously, which of course had an impact on Seneca as well. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the discoveries you made about Ennius's Andromache and Medea? Were they actually similar to Euripides' tragedies of the same name?
Yeah, that's a key question which has occupied scholarship for centuries. And we know obviously that the Greek dramas are much older than the Roman dramas, and that they were known to the Roman poets who started to write tragedies in about the late 3rd, early 2nd century BC. And therefore, for a long time, scholarship was, I have to say, I'm afraid, very Helleноcentric. And they believed that the Roman poets basically took the Greek tragedies, translated them into Latin, and that was it. Although, even that would have been quite an achievement at this early stage of Roman literature, when not even a poetic language had been developed. But modern scholars, especially Latinists, tend to think a bit more highly of the Romans, and they do think that obviously they started from the Greek material, but they transformed them, and some people call this Romanization. They turned them into something Roman. For instance, the Medea play you mentioned, it starts very much like the Euripides play, with the nurse coming on stage telling everyone about the fortunes of her mistress Medea, and if it hadn't happened like this, how much happier would they be? But for instance, there are some interesting differences. Euripides starts in medias res, he starts in the middle of the story and then fills in the background. Whereas Ennius does it in a much more well-structured, clearer way. He starts from the very beginning and then ends with the current situation. And also, he puts in some explanations on what the Argo, the ship that's relevant in the myth was. And then a bit later on in the play, Medea complains that she's not always been treated well, and so that you get criticism whatever you do basically. And in the Greek version it's something like when you get criticism whether you are in the house or out of the house or things like that. And in the Latin version, Medea talks about being abroad and being at home and doing service to the state wherever you are. And this is terminology which doesn't really fit a mythical female heroine who doesn't really work for the res publica of the Roman state. That's actually the term used. But it's obviously something that's very important in Roman culture. And thereby by making these little changes, although it's still the Greek myth, the author could make it very relevant to a Roman public, and we now think that's why the Romans got interested in these plays.
Talking of the Roman public, how familiar would they have been with the Greek myths, and would they have been able to tell how the playwright had adapted it for them? Or, was there a division between those who did know, so the more educated members of the audience, and those perhaps who were not so familiar with previous literature from a foreign country?
It's very difficult to tell for sure, because most of the evidence you have come from educated people like Cicero in later centuries who comment on those plays. But it's presumably the second of the two options. Like in a modern theatre, you can receive a drama on various levels, and we know from prologues of comedies that in Rome a wide range of people went to these shows, including slaves and everyone. And we tend to think that the educated people would have enjoyed realizing all these differences or learned illusions, and the less educated people would have just enjoyed the story. And that's fair enough, you can enjoy the story on different levels.
Absolutely. The main thing for a tragedian, or indeed any playwright, is to make the play entertaining for his public and for them to enjoy going and hopefully come back.
Yeah, we mustn't forget obviously that many people in Rome were indeed bilingual, and there were also a lot of Greek slaves, some employed as private teachers. So I think there may have been, the level of education may have gone further down in the social scale than we might think, but still it would have been different. And as you say, because playwrights were commissioned every year by the magistrates to write new plays for the festivals when these dramas were performed, it was quite important to go down well with the audience to secure more commissions.
Absolutely. Talking about Andromache, what do we know about the Roman treatment of her character? Because of course this is a key sort of moment in the mythical past of Rome, who saw themselves as descended from the Trojans. So a story that references the fall of Troy must have been an interesting topic for the Republican stage.
It is amazing indeed how many Roman tragedies of this period have the War of Troy as their topic, and it's often explained by the fact that the War of Troy was so important for the Romans, because that's how they thought they were coming from. But I entirely agree with you that it's a bit strange that because they were the people who were defeated in this war. But it must have still been an important element in their national consciousness. And also maybe the Greeks were not shown to the best advantage, or on another level you could also argue that they just show general characteristics of people in war and how you should behave, and then irrespective of your nationality can be transferred. What we can say about Andromache is that she had a long aria in that play, which was apparently very famous, because Cicero, the later Aretine politician, quotes it a lot, and he also talks about the music and the atmosphere when she delivered this speech, or this aria rather, where she talked about that everything is now destroyed and she's lost everything. In that context, I think it wasn't that important that she was a Trojan, but just the fact how movingly this could be presented on stage.
Indeed, it is a very powerful story, as Euripides' Trojan Women demonstrates. It's such a shame we've lost so much, and it's wonderful to try and piece it together to the extent, of course, that we can.
Yeah, it's always a revelation to people. You mentioned earlier that people only think of Seneca's Medea. When I sometimes teach courses on Roman drama and we read Seneca's Medea, then I make a point of mentioning to students that there are also a number of earlier Medea plays, because Medea was actually one of the most popular myths in Roman drama. And even though we don't have the time or the abilities to go into all the details of working with fragments, students find it really interesting to see that there's a backstory, and then they read things differently. They don't just compare Euripides and Seneca, but they know there are several stages in between.
Yes. Well, very best of luck to the group and to yourself, and we look forward to learning more about this exciting topic. Thank you.
Thank you.